What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about who's the best wide receiver in the NFL. So let's see what they have to say about that.
A lot of familiar faces. Cooper Kupp finished last season as the best fantasy wide receiver in the NFL and remains at the top of the list to start the year. Jamar Chase, who finished last season as the fifth best fantasy wide receiver, enters this season ranked third. Marcus Spears, who will be the best wideout in the league this season, sir?
So let me jump in here real quick. So I think the best wide receiver coming into this year is going to be Cooper Kupp. You got to respect what he did last year. So let's take a quick look at his stats. So last year, Cooper Kupp caught the rock for 145 times. That's first overall for wide receivers. He caught the rock for 1,947 yards. That's first overall for wide receivers. And he caught 16 touchdowns. That's first overall for wide receivers. So Cooper Kupp is the number one wide receiver coming into this year. But with that said, I wouldn't take him. And I'll tell you why in a second.
Jamar Chase.
Okay.
One, capitalizing obviously on what he did year one. Knowing that relationship between him and Joe Burrow is similar to the one that Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams had during that team. He's going to get enough targets. Now, obviously, that's predicated on if defenses are going to double team him and try to take him away. But even in that last year, they figured out a way to get that done. He'll face tougher defenses this year. They'll have more of an experience and a knowledge on who he is as a wide receiver. But I think that connection between him and Joe Burrow and then his supporting cast, you have to pay attention to in T. Higgins and obviously Joe Mixon in the backfield, Tyler Boyd in the slot. So I think that Jamar Chase has a real opportunity this year to have the Triple Crown. Most touchdowns, most yards, most receptions.
Yep.
I really believe that he will be in that conversation.
And Cooper Kupp had it last season.
My only
Exactly. Cooper Kupp had last season. That's why respect will be paid. And I think he's the number one wide receiver coming into this year. Again, like I said, with that said, I would go with Davante Adams. I think Davante Adams is an absolute beast, and he has the numbers to back up being the number one wide receiver. So let's take a quick look at his numbers. So last year, he caught the rock 123 times. That's second overall for wide receivers. He caught the rock for 1,553 yards. That's third overall for wide receivers. And he caught 11 touchdowns. That's fifth overall for wide receivers. So Davante Adams is an absolute beast. But the reason why I'm picking him is because of his consistency. So in 2018, he caught the rock for 1,386 yards. 2019, he caught the rock for 997 yards, but he only played in 12 games. In 2020, he caught the rock for 1,374 yards. And last year, he caught the rock for 1,553 yards. Consistency is key, and that's why I'm going to go with Davante Adams. Cooper Kupp doesn't have the consistency. He doesn't have the years in there. Chase doesn't have the years in there, and all those other guys do not have the years in there. They balled out. They've had great years, but Davante Adams has the experience and the years.
Issue with Cooper Kupp is I don't know where Matt Stafford will be with his elbow.
Exactly.
That's my issue with
exactly what
I think Cooper Kupp will be highly productive. I just don't know where Matt Stafford will be all season in order to put Cooper Kupp in that.
So are we basing it on the criteria of the quarterback and the wide receiver, or just how good the wide receiver is going to be? Because if you don't want to give Cooper Kupp his props because of his quarterback, well, then we're going to have to go back and reevaluate how we rank all the other wide receivers based on their quarterbacks. So I'm just saying, this just based on a wide receiver, I would say Cooper Kupp is going to be the number one wide receiver coming into this year for what he did last year and his numbers. Again, with that said, I would pick Davante Adams because he has that consistency year in and year out. Obviously, he's not with Green Bay anymore, but I think Derek Carr can definitely get the rock out to Davante Adams, and he can have the same type of year that he's been having and stay consistent.
I'm with you on Chase. I really have nothing to add because Burrow has shown that he's that dude.
Yeah.
And Jamar Chase is something special.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is an absolute beast. I definitely have to, again, I'm picking Davante Adams, but, Chase, Cooper Kupp, all those other guys, those guys are absolute beasts too. But like I said, Davante Adams has the consistency year in and year out, except for 2019 when he only played in 12 games.
I was a Devontae Smith dude. Because remember, Jamar Chase sat out that year to prepare for the draft. Jamar Chase is something special. He's going to be around, barring the injury. He's going to be around for a long time, making major noise. Chase is special.